of other realms. Just like the book of planetary influence, which I was able to get back, I had to fight tooth and nail for it. I am going to teach you not only how to channel information from certain planetary realms, I am going to teach you how to attune yourself to a planetary realm, to charge yourself with a planetary realm, to charge other objects with a particular planetary realm, and to align yourself with the entities there, and to visit the astral realm of that particular planetary sphere. We are going to begin with the planetary sphere that most would say, no, don't begin with. But I think because of the severity of the situation that we are in, the chance to attain victory is very real at this point. And I need you to really feel empowered and to feel courage at a very high degree. So, I am starting this process with the planetary realm of Mars. Within the Kabbalah, it is Geburah. Now, next week sometime, I will give you the counterpart. The balancing sphere of Mars is Jupiter. Mars is the power to destroy, the power to tear things down, the power to weaken, the power to injure, the power to eliminate. Now, the universe hates a vacuum. So with the power of Mars, you are eliminating, terminating something, i.e. the Illuminati. You best have something to fill that void with. That's where Jupiter will come in. The balancing powers between Mars and Jupiter on the Kabbalic cross are one of the major focal points for all Kabbalic-based religions or magical practices. In fact, when the Catholics do the cross, the sign of the cross, what they are actually doing is an old Kabbalic form of realignment where they are touching their heads, they are anointing themselves with the energy of Kether, they are touching their belly, which actually they should be touching their groin, which anoints them with the strength of Malkuth, because what they're really doing is they're symbolizing sexual power flowing downward, manifesting. So they're touching their moon, which is the planetary sphere of Yesod, or the moon, which is the groin, symbolizing the strength flowing downwards to Malkuth, which is their feet. Then they touch their right shoulder, which is Geburah. Make the sign of the cross, so it crosses the path of Tipperoth, which is the Christ energy in the sun, and move over to the left shoulder, which is Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is a place of anabolic power, meaning to build. Mars is catabolic, which is to tear down, to eat away and destroy. A man's most powerful impulse is that of to create or destroy. So this truly is a masculine, strong path energetically. That doesn't mean that females can't use it very, very, very well. But this is part of a masculine mystery. There are feminine mysteries within the Kabbalah too. The path between Mars and Jupiter is symbolized by the Strength card in the Tarot. And that is one profound mystery to link how one uses creation and how one uses destruction. Mars is a warrior sphere. You can't get away from it. It is the place of thunder, of lightning, of war, of conflict, of power, of lust, of struggle, of overcoming and tearing down, of victory. All these things that you would find on a battlefield, all these things that you would find in the political spectrum, all these things that you would find within places of extreme competition and places of extreme hardship and valor, and all these things are found within the realm of Mars. Now, because the principal energies are of destruction, you can take this to destroy anything. However, if you are smart, if you are righteous, you will understand that the destruction of something evil is its purpose. The destruction of disease, the destruction of weakness, the destruction of the Illuminati, the destruction of corruption, the destruction of criminal activity. Okay? Jupiter, on the other hand, would say, in the wake of this destruction, using the rubble caused by the mighty power of Mars, we will rebuild. From corruption, we will build benefactors. From the Illuminati, we will build the rebirth of the Constitution, the rebirth of true America. So these are things you must know. Also, on the flip side, Jupiter, you can create a meth lab. You can create problems for your inner city youth. So don't fall into this trap of destruction bad, creation good. That's kindergarten bullshit that they teach in Sunday school. All right? The devil is not in Mars and Jesus is not in Jupiter. It's ridiculous, and you need to stop with that kind of nonsense. Let me introduce Mars. Mars is a planetary sphere that is pouring into our lives every day, as do all the other planetary spheres pour their energies or their beams down into Malkuth. There's no getting away from it. You can't run, you can't hide, it's just the way it is. You might as well learn to deal with it. You might as well learn to live and work and benefit from it and use its powers rather than get used by its powers. When you build muscle, you first have to tear it down. So if I'm out in my backyard juggling a 106-pound kettlebell, I'm tearing my muscles down, okay? I'm causing rips and fractures in my muscular structure. I am tearing the old down. My rest, my eating of the right foods and proteins is the Jupiter power. Rebuilding stronger what was torn down. Rebuilding me stronger and anew. In the Celtic world, there's a poem called A New Strength Takes Over Me. A new strength comes to me. Alright? This is the talking about the tearing down of the old, which Mars does, and the rebuilding of the new, stronger, which is what Jupiter does. Mars clears the path for Jupiter to rebuild. It's very important. It happens in every single case, everywhere in the world. The planetary sphere of Mars can be used to energize you, vitalize you, give you strength, give you courage, empower your spirit, okay? Empower your sexuality, your masculinity, your masculine side, all right? It can be used to drive ambitions forward. It can be used for exorcisms and banishings, which are very important, okay? This symbolizes the right arm of God, of the prime creator, okay? The weapons of this sphere carry well over into this particular modern world without you knowing it. You talk about the hammer of God. You talk about the righteous sword of God. You talk about the spear of destiny. You talk about the axe of severity. You talk about the chain of siege. All these are in and potential tools of the planetary realm of Mars. Just to set that straight, Mars, of course, is the Roman god of strength, masculinity, and war. Originally an agricultural god that used a shovel, okay, piercing the soil like the penis pierces the vagina, okay, it's all sexual. and they built great mighty gardens that fed everyone. Pretty soon, other wandering tribes began to notice those gardens and say, ooh, we want that. So the men had to defend their gardens. So they shaved parts off their shovel to become sharper, so it became a spade. So now they could both dig and defend. And as Rome grew and as the corruption grew, that spade was shaved down once more to become a spear. So instead of going forth and building their gardens and defending it, they marched on that of others. This power can overwhelm people very, very quickly. That's why when working with it, I want you to begin also working with planetary Jupiter to balance you out. In Jupiter, you have the wise king. In Mars, you have the great warrior. Both have to balance each other out. Just because you work with Jupiter, with Mars, once or twice a couple weeks, and you don't work with Jupiter, doesn't mean it's going to throw you out of whack. But if you spend 2-3 months doing nothing but working with the powers of Jupiter, those vibrations will begin to overpower you, and you will find yourself very hot-tempered, very aggressive, very conflict-orientated, very impulsive, things that'll definitely imbalance your personality. These are very real vibrations. They exist, and they will change you. You are drawing those energies into you, and if they're not balanced out, you will become unbalanced. And then that's when the real trouble can occur. Because imbalance, the unbalanced, is evil. On the tree of life in the Kabbalah, each sphere has its own check and balance system. On the Quilap, the only real difference between them is that there is no checks and balances in each of the planetary spheres. They're all extreme, and they very easily, very quickly imbalance the individual. You need to stay balanced. Working with the planetary realm of Jupiter for a bit, of Mars, is not going to hurt you. Okay? It's actually going to empower you and probably restore a lot of your imbalances by giving you fresh vitality and power first. Something for you to think about. I want you to very much begin working with the sphere. Something else that I need to mention. Humans are meant to be balanced. Okay? We cannot live in totalities. The spirits of all the other realms and the Mars realm live in totality of the Mars energy. You are not built to do that. You can't do that. Your spirit will fracture. You can't do it. Don't try. I've seen other people try. This is one of the dangers of Kabbalistic magic, where people are like, oh, that's my sphere, I'm going to work just that, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, they're, a fucking nutcase. And they're stupid. But they're so driven that you can't tell them anything other than, you need to get balanced. And only when they hit rock bottom and they realize what they've done do they, start to get balanced again. So, Mars sphere is one of my favorite places, but I know and I have learned to absolutely love the sphere of Jupiter. That is a place of amazing glory and incredible business, finance, understandings, huge towers, kingly advice. It's the realm of Jupiter, obviously. So, these are two places that are extremely important within this order's path. All the paths are important, but this place places incredible emphasis to really master these two energies. The entities that are going to be there are entities like Hercules, like Mars, of course, he's going to be there. The angels are Samael and Kamael. These are and there's other angels there too, but these are two very prominent angels. You also have the god of that realm, which is Elohim Gabor. And this is a god that is a wild, highly muscular, almost Thor-esque looking individual individual with a lightning sword and rides a mighty chariot pulled by dogs of war. No entities mess with Elohim Gabor, and I've heard tale that him and Thor are pretty tight, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I'll come back and do part 2.